Hi everyone, so for today's lesson we are making a storage tray plan. So pop your date at the top and your title will be storage tray plan. Now you are going to be making a plan for your storage tray. So you might have already modelled this out, or you might have had a think about it or considered what sort of objects you might want to be in here. So you need to take special consideration to those things. So your storage tray is going to be 160 millimeters by 160 millimeters. So it's going to be a square shape. Okay. So to start us off, what you are going to need to do is mark out your square. Okay. So you are going to need to measure 16 centimeters along this way, 16 here and 16 down here. Now you might find it best to put it in the middle of the page and mark it clearly out where your 16 is. Now it's worth noting that I'm completing this in pen, just so it stands out on the video, but I would recommend that you complete this in pencil just in case you make any mistakes, but also because we usually use pencil for drawing. So to make sure that this next line going down here is straight, what I tend to do is measure from my point of 16 to the edge of the page. So I can just see it's just below there, 4.5 centimeters. So down the bottom here, where I know that it's going to end up going to, I can make a little mark just so I make sure that my ruler's straight from the top. So when I'm doing my 16, I can then make sure I'm hitting that mark so it's at that right angle. So that goes down to that one, just there. Then you can do exactly the same with the other side, so measure from the side over, so I can see that that one's about 4.5, and I'm going to measure 4.5 here and just put a little mark so it gives me a bit of a guide. Again, measure down 160 millimeters or 16 centimeters, and then this one you should just be able to join up at the bottom here. Like that. So you should end up with a square. Obviously, if you are completing this using a pencil, you can then rub out these little lines where you've gone over ever so slightly. So the next thing that you are going to need to do is start marking out the walls. So all the way around these four edges are going to be the walls of your storage tray. Now the walls that we usually use are about 8 millimeters thick, but it's worth measuring or checking with your teacher the size of the wood pieces that you'll be given before you start marking this out. So you need to be very specific with this and count along for your 8 millimeters. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'll just make a little bit mark there. Again, please can you complete this using a pencil? It's really important that it's accurate. I'm doing it in the pen just so it stands out for you on the video. So what I tend to do is mark little dots, and then I have the freedom to join those dots up. So with this, what I tend to do is I have two sides that have a longer section and two that have a slightly shorter measurement. Okay, so we're going to add the measurements to this drawing at the very end. So again, mark that down because that's going to be my wooden sides. And lastly, do it again for the bottom parts. like that. So what I've got here then is my 2 longer pieces of wood. This bit will then be my 2 shorter pieces. Then I start plotting out where I want everything to go. So it might be that you've got the idea that certain things are going to go in certain sections, and that's absolutely fine. But you need to use the measurements of those things, plus give them a little bit of movement room to take them in and out. So for example, if it was something like this, a real cotton that I wanted to go in, first of all I'd need to decide whether I want it laying like that or upright like that, and then I would need to add a bit of extra room onto it. So if it goes right at the top, I'm then going to want at least a little bit so I can get it in and out easily. It obviously wouldn't work very well if it's difficult to get in and out. So you can mark out the walls on the inside. Again, they're going to have the 8mm walls again. If you are doing anything like a pencil holder or a glue stick holder, they are going to involve drill holes. So the way we mark those out, so say for example I had some pencils that are going to stick upwards here, what I would end up doing is I would decide on how big I'd like the section to be. So that would be my first thing, and I'd measure it really accurately from the sides. Then once I've decided, so say for example if I wanted this top bit to be a pencil holder and it's going to be about 5 centimeters long, that's then going to be a solid piece of wood. Now that solid piece of wood for the pencils, I would mark out really neatly. They need to be a fair distance apart, okay? So from the edge they're probably going to want to be about here and maybe about here. And you'd probably want that distance the whole way down. Now when we've got a drill hole like this, we tend to mark them with a cross. So with your ruler, mark your drill holes with a cross, like so. And those are going to be my pencil holder pieces. If I wanted a glue stick holder, that's going to be a little bigger, so you're going to need to measure the diameter of the glue stick, and on your plan you would mark it, drawing it with a compass, a circle round like that. So just be aware of that. Any walls, like I've mentioned before, needs to be the 8mm. So if this here is a wall, that's going to be our 8mm there. Okay, and you can even label these things. So if here is my pencil holder, label it like so. If this part is going to hold, I don't know, my phone, label it. If this is going to hold my thread there, label that as the thread section, just so you're really clear on all of those things. When you've completed that, you are then going to start adding colour. So with a colour pencil and rendering all in one direction, you are going to colour this the colour of the plastic that you would like, and your teacher will tell you what colour options there are. So you would colour it all in one direction, really lightly, like so, making sure that you're really considering how you are shading. Now with the outside walls, same thing, but you might want to add a little bit darker to sort of show the difference in height. Or you might even want this bit slightly darker to show the difference in height there. So complete all of those steps and then you are pretty much done. So to recap, step 1 is draw your square. and it's 160 millimeters by 160 millimeters. If you're doing a plan for anything else, you can still plan it like this, but you just need to check on your dimensions. Step 2 is draw the walls. In this case they were 8 millimeters, but again check with your teacher for that one, just to make sure that's accurate. 3 is draw in your sections and add walls. If you are doing anything with regards to a pencil holder or glue stick holder, you can add this here too. Step 4 is then render your drawing once it's complete and neat. So that is what you need to do for this piece of work. Let your teacher know if you've got any questions and they'll do their best to help you.